Okay, let's do a little more graphing. Now this one's a little weird. Remember, we have our y equals mx plus b, slope-intercept form. Do we have y alone? Yeah, so it's in that form. Okay, do we know our slope here? This is the first thing we're going to write. Do we know our slope? Well, we look at the number that's paired with the x. What's being multiplied by the x? -2, so that's our slope. Now we need to know our y-intercept. What's being added right here? If it just says 2x, what is being added to it? It's kind of weird, but it's 0. So what's my y-intercept? 0. Okay, so I need to explain what I'm doing, but I'm going to graph it. Let's see. Make our grid. Make our grid. Okay, so y-intercept is b, or b is 0. So you know how to graph the y-intercept. Go to the y-axis and find that point. Where is 0 on the y-axis? Well, it's right there. Then from the point, from the y-intercept that I just drew, I'm going to do -2. Since it's not a fraction, it's going to be over 1. Okay, so I'm going to go -2 over +1. So I'm going to go positive for the run. Because remember, it's rise over run. Okay, so I started at my y-intercept. I went -2 and +1. And then I put my point there. And now I connect my line. Put my arrows. My reasoning. Slope is -2. B is 0. Plot the y-intercept. Then do my slope. Rise -2 and run +1. There's my explanation. Awesome. Okay, now what if I don't give you one that's this easy? Oh, what if I give you one, here we go, that's a little more challenging. Is this in y equals mx plus b? Y equals mx plus b. Is the y all alone here? No, it's got that 10x with it. So we have to do a little bit of work here. Okay, here we go. So 10x plus y equals 5. How do I get the y alone? Well, I think through what's on that same side. So side is based off the equation, so we're ignoring this side for now. What's paired with that y? Well, right now it's a 10x. Okay, how's it being paired with that 10x? Well, by addition. How do I undo addition? Subtraction. So I subtract 10x from both sides, right? That cancels because 10x minus 10x is 0. 0 plus anything is whatever. So what am I left with over here? I'm left with just my y, right? So y equals, okay, can I do 5 minus 10x? Are they like terms? No, this doesn't have an x, this does. So I have -10x plus 5. Now, does that look like slope-intercept form? Does it look like y equals mx plus b? Yeah, y equals a number times x plus a number. It could be a minus sign, that's fine too. So what is my slope in this case? -10. What is my y-intercept? Sorry, you can't see that. What is my y-intercept? 5, +5. Okay, so now I have to graph it. Okay, there's that. Ta-da! Okay, so y-intercept first. We already talked about the y-intercept is where it crosses the y-axis. So I go up 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now I'm kind of running out of space, so you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to count by 2s. 2, 4, 6. Okay, so if I count by 2s, my y-intercept is going to be between 4 and 6, right? Because that's 5. Okay, now my slope is -10 over 1, right? 10 over 1. But when I have a negative side, that negative can only go to one piece. So would I rather go up 10 or down 10? Well, I personally rather go down 10. So if I go down 10, that makes my 10 negative, which makes my 1 have to be what, positive or negative? Well, if that negative sign stayed with the 10, the 1 has to be positive. So I'm going to go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because remember we're counting by 2s, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oops. And look, I messed up, which is why we use pencil. We're going by 10s and then over 1. So over 1 would be right here. So if I were using pencil, I would erase that dot. But we're just going to ignore it for now. I draw my line. That's not anything. And there we go. We've got y-intercept of 5. We went down 10, positive 1, because it's negative 10 over 1. And there you go. Okay, let's do one more like this. One more like this. Okay, what if I have, ran out of graph paper. We'll just use this then. Okay, focus, there we go. What if I have this? Is the y by itself? Do we have y equals mx plus b yet? No, the y is not alone. It's got an x. Oh, but what else does it have? It's got this 5. So remember we work farther away. Okay, looking at this side of the equation. Looking at this side of the equation, okay? What is paired with the y? Well, we've got an x and we've got a 5. We work with the farther away one. Which one's farther away, the x or the 5 from the y? Well, the x is. The 5's right next to it. The x is a little bit farther away than that 5. How is it being paired with this stuff, with this y? Well, it's x plus 5y. So since this is a positive, we're going to subtract x from both sides. Okay, now can we subtract negative 10 and x and negative x? No, they're not like terms. So over here, we got rid of those. We're left with this piece, 5y equals, we're going to keep the x out in the first position. So what sign is in front of this x? A minus. So negative x. What sign is in front of that 10? A minus. Minus 10. Okay, now what's paired with my y? Is it alone yet? No. It's still got a 5 in front of it. And it's 5 times y. So how do I undo times? Divide. Now this is the weird part. Remember, you have to divide both pieces. So this side's easy because 5 divided by 5 is 1. So we just have 1y, which is just y. Now what number is in front of that x? Can you see anything? No, so it is a negative 1. It's like a ninja 1. So do you know what negative 1 divided by 5 is? Do you know how to solve that? No, so we're just going to leave it. Negative 1 over 5x. Do you know what negative 10 divided by 5 is? Yeah, negative 10 divided by 5 is negative 2. So we're going to say minus 2. Now, does this look like slope-intercept form? Yeah, it does. Okay, so y equals mx plus b. M is what? Negative 1 over 5. B is negative 2. Okay, so graph the y-intercept first, negative 2. Now, the slope is negative 1 over 5. I can do either. I can either do negative 1 over positive 5, or I can do 1 over negative 5. Either of those work. And look, I'll even show you. If I did this one, rise negative 1, run positive 5, or rise positive 1 based off of this run and run negative 5. Positive 1 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Look what happens when I connect those points. They are all the same. They are all on the same line. You can do either one and it will give you the same line. Okay, so there's just a little bit more practice with slope-intercept form and having to solve for it. Remember, get the further away, so get the x, move it, and then divide by whatever number's in front of it. Here, it was just a 1, so we didn't have to change anything with that y. But here, we actually had to divide, and when we did, we have to do both pieces. Negative 1/5, negative 2.